And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the Oliva Cigar Family, and the J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
And good evening.
Good
Yes.
evening. Yes,
Hello.
it is
Hello.
good evening. Welcome, everybody, to another great cigar and pipe show. And it's our pairing show. And as you can see, we have our lovely Chooch, our alcohol specialist, Mr. Luigi.
Anonymous specialist.
I am special. Yes, that's a given.
For tonight, you are. And hello, Carol with an E.
Carol with the knee is making sure Joey, the chicken man, is on point tonight.
Yep.
Always on point.
Joey with a Y.
Yeah, on that segue, always on point.
Always on point.
Always. Yeah.
Richard Beard, hello. Matt Polly, hello. And everybody else joining us. We got a great show tonight. We got a lot of people on tonight. It's a big show. So, you'll see most of the original Chooch is kind of quiet tonight because it's kind of like Joey's special show, and he'll be talking to a lot of special guests. So I ask you basically hit the share button and let's get this show on the road with everybody you know, and we'll have a lot of fun and ask away some questions on the side. If we can get to those questions, we'd love to ask our special guests and try to get you more involved.
Yeah, you know what, Kyle? Why don't we put up the
Hashtag.
a raffle hashtag for tonight? Joey, why don't you hold up the potential winner? Will be receiving
what we're drinking.
That's few, and it's going to be
Hashtag
you and Aganorsa.
And
Aganorsa.
it doesn't matter punctuation, but spelling does count. And that's what you need to put in there for your Facebook and or YouTube. If you're watching us on those two platforms, that is the only way you can get entered into the raffle. So, and then you have to stay for the whole show because we get to the end of the show.
Oh, we put up that bottle again.
One more
We
time.
start pulling names.
There we go.
I can take it from here.
Oh, I just took my very first sip.
Did you?
Yeah, at first I gave it the old nose test, Bob.
Oh,
The Italian nose.
What did the schnoz say?
Sweet.
The nose says sweetness.
Yes.
There's
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
big time sweetness. I mean, it's shining through. It's like this big sugar bomb on the nose.
A little bit of citrus in there
And a
too.
little bit of citrus.
Yep.
Kind of like almost like a very tart orange.
You guys got to introduce yourselves. Don't forget to.
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
we forgot to do that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
you're on the show, so you throw it all off,
Minor details, Joey. Minor
No,
details.
Joey can introduce this.
Yeah, Joe, it's your show. You do the introductions
Joey,
tonight.
you
Go ahead.
introduce everybody.
No, fuck you. I'm not doing the introduction.
Oh, forget about it. It's a family show. Carol, you really talk to this dirty mouth guy? Come on, man.
First of all, I don't even know your names.
Exactly. It's
Wow.
better that way.
Like, I don't know who these guys are.
Well, we don't know you, Leroy, so forget about it.
Every time you're on our show, you're drunk, Joey. You forget.
Yeah, that's right. No, well, I can't forget what I never knew in the first place. So
Segue, anyone?
Good
So
evening,
anyway.
everyone from lovely Tampa and rainy Tampa. I am Kyle, your one of your co-hosts, coming to you from Daytona Beach on the somewhere close to a beach. You got
We're about
Tired Bob
Welcome back, folks.
and the illustrious Cousin Frank.
cheers, everybody. Tonight's
Chooch
gonna be a
Master
great one.
himself.
No,
And then
not.
we're going to up north in Chicago way, Fox Lake area. You got our hostess with the mostest, Ronnie.
especially when he wears his his skirt.
I don't wear anything under the
It's not a
skirt.
skirt. It's what do they call those?
Kilts?
Kilts.
Yeah,
Kilt?
it's
And
a
then-
brotherly thing.
Coming to you live from the Norwood Lounge with Vic Shaw somewhere in the building. You have our Chooch Joey Gulino.
What's going on, everybody? Yes, I am right here at Norwood Royal Cigars here in the lounge. Tonight we're going to be doing an incredible pairing. This was actually put together in collaboration with Single Cask Nation in regards to the cigar. And then we have Drammers Club collaborating with FEW. We're going to have Yoni Miller and Sean Crane from the Drammers Club that are going to join us to explain to us what exactly Drammers Club is. I'm not too familiar myself, so I'm excited to learn about that. And then we have Paul Hletko. He's the founder of FEW Bourbon here in Illinois. He's going to get us into the whiskey. First, the cigar is the Single Cask Nation 2023 exclusive Habano. This is an amazing cigar. And guys, as we go get through this smoke, I want you to pay attention to one thing, and that's going to be the ring gauge size and how it delivers the incredible flavors of this cigar blend to the palate.
I mean, it looks like a
What is it,
Toro to me.
52?
It's 48.
48. Okay,
48.
so it's a little smaller
Yes.
Toro size. So it's almost a double Corona, maybe something like that.
Could be, yeah.
A little longer.
It's about there. But yeah, just the ring gauge alone, you're going to see how they put this cigar together to perfection.
And this is a blend from Aganorsa.
This is a blend from Aganorsa in collaboration with Single Cask Nation. And then the whiskey is basically a whiskey that was bottled by and for the Drammers Club. This is a FEW bourbon finished in vermouth.
I thought that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's familiar with vermouth.
Of course I am.
It's very sweet, obviously, and fruity.
Right.
And it does do some incredible things to this bourbon. I look, you can tell I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I just opened the bottle 5 minutes ago, guys.
So the bourbon with the vermouth is like you have a Manhattan already made in the bottle.
It's kind of interesting. It's a Manhattan in the bottle.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
Joe, what is the proof on that?
Okay, so that's interesting because for me, this cigar is actually, for me, it's like a mild to medium.
Mm-hmm.
But then they paired it with this bourbon that comes out. It's coming out heavy. It's
hot, right? It's a little hot.
60.2% ABV.
So it's almost 121.
You'd think this would overpower the cigar, but it absolutely does not.
It's the sweetness
that's
what calms it down.
Yeah, this is going to be another perfect pairing, like we just went over with Dave Yancey last month. That was an incredible show, by the way. We learned so much from Dave, and we have to be thankful for his knowledge and his willingness to share it with us. That was pretty incredible. But for tonight, I'm really excited to hear from Yoni, Sean, and Paul, and get into this pairing, see what we got.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a break and go to our friends who just happen to be sponsors, and we'll be right back after these words.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, The Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Boveda 2-way humidification.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we are back, folks.
Let's get our guests up on the stage with us. Here we go. And the crowd is...
All right, we have Paul Hlecko with the glasses on from FEW Distillery. We have Sean Crane with the... actually, you guys are all wearing glasses. I'm like, it's like almost like the game Guess Who tonight. All right, with the plain black T-shirt on, we have Sean Crane from Drammers Club, and then we have with the hat on, we have Yoni Miller from Drammers Club. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. Let's give another round of applause to these gentlemen.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Paul, you're a genius.
I don't know about that.
Well, when it comes to distilling, this is fan-fucking-tastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came out really well, and working with Charlie and the entire team over at Drammers, like you're not going to find a cooler group of guys than Drammers.
Excellent. So, Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what Drammers Club is?
Sure. So I'm Sean Crane. I'm the head of the Indianapolis chapter of Drammers Club. We've got 57 chapters kind of set up around the world. So I run, my group is my local chapter is fairly active, but we've got very active chapters in Las Vegas. We've got chapters in Berlin, London. I think we've got somewhere around 3,000 active members globally. Wow. We do in-person events every month or so, depending on kind of the activity level of each chapter. We also do multiple online events, various distillers. We've had Paul on a number of times, showcasing not just what he's doing, but things relative to the industry. I know Paul's real active in setting up like the American single malt designation. So we'll have just producers and distillers on to talk about all things whiskey and other spirits. We've got a good mezcal line. We've been doing some rum events lately, a little bit of everything.
Nice.
But yeah, so guests can kind of log on to the website. They can purchase tasting kits for the events and then hop online and join and join in the conversation.
Oh, cool.
Chapters are all over the place. Signing up on the mailing list on the website's the best way to kind of get on board. Traditionally, it's an invite-only type organization. The whole goal is we want people that are just going to be, fun drinking buddies all around the world. Whenever I travel, I normally will post up on the Facebook group saying, "Hey, here's where I'm going to be." Almost every time there's somebody waiting to grab a dram. And then I think the other interesting thing is we now have a retail partner, Drinky, which is based out of DC, so we can ship nationally. And they're starting to be pretty adept at securing kind of unique bottles for not just Drammers Club members, but just folks on the website.
Nice.
And we carved out a niche of carrying kind of like the last bottles from shuttered distilleries. So we've had we've been supporting the industry and our friends in it by kind of buying up the last of their stock before finally closing down. So we're kind of becoming partners kind of becoming an archive, if you will, of some of the more interesting distillers that weren't able to kind of make it in this environment.
Very cool. Very
nice.
cool.
Okay, so Yoni, this cigar, I want to make sure I'm calling this. This is the Single Cask Nation 2023 exclusive.
That's correct.
And it's a Habano, right?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came through with this blend?
So this is actually our third collaboration with Aganorsa. In addition, I would say third collaboration with Aganorsa and Two Guys Cigar Shop. A little background history for cigar nerds and people. And by the way, I apologize if you hear some background noise here. I'm with about 300 people at a crazy event, actually pouring some of Paul's stuff out here. It's a nonprofit event. So, if you guys think, again, derelicts are out there, there's definitely a lot of debauchery.
I think Bigfoot's right behind you, too.
right, with the giant light behind me, exactly. So I'll take a background history of how this cigar came about in the collaboration and why I do this. And it actually fits perfectly of who you guys are with as I love to hear the perfect pairing, which to me is always subjective. So back in 2009, I was with Michael Herklots when he was still working at Davidoff at an event in the Russian Tea Room. And just like this, we were talking, and I'm a very passionate consumer. And he sees that I'm into the industry, and I love talking to people and everything. And he has a free ticket to go down to Pro Cigar. Now, Pro Cigar, there are two, I would say, forgetting about the Habanos Festival, there are two main cigar festivals. If you're a cigar fan, you got to go to. One's Nicaragua, which is relatively still new, and Pro Cigar, which has been around, I think, almost now at least 15 years. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. So I go down to the festival, and I meet Terrence Riley when we were doing the tours of all the when we were doing all of the Nicaraguan, all the Dominican factories. I met him when he was still at Quesada. I've become very friendly with Terrence. Obviously, he literally is Bigfoot. And so, he's easy to point out, right? He's only 7'2". He's the easiest guy to point out there. And he sees I'm passionate also about whiskey. And I think back, I would say around 2015, 2016, right? There's no brand out there, right? We always see, even with Cigar Aficionado and other people, right? Everyone smokes and everyone drinks, but no one does, as I say, the perfect pairing, right? So I'm like, has there anyone actually finished a whole cigar, not the binder, not the filler, right? Not the wrapper, but the whole cigar in a barrel? Looked around. I actually spoke to Pete Johnson. I asked people over at Fuente, because Fuente is known to use the Anejo and use the cognac a little bit in the filler. But everyone out there says, tobacco is tobacco, whiskey is whiskey. We don't want the two to mix. If I'm a cigar smoker, I want a pure cigar itself, and I don't want to really mix the two. I'm like, well, let's play science. Let's play with science, and let's be a scientist and play around with it. So back in 2016. We got a retailer on board because we want to make this more for the public, right? And you have to get a retailer on board, and that's a whole separate legality and regulation out there. And of course, I asked my good friends Joshua Hanover at Single Cask Nation if we can borrow a barrel, and could we make this happen? He was definitely on board. We ship a barrel down to Miami and Doral, where their little, I would say, factory, warehouse is. down for Aganorsa, and we started playing around with the cigars. And we started playing around with taking the full cigar and aging it at various times. Aged it for a month. We found the cigar was too wet. We aged it and also we aged it a little bit shorter, a little bit longer to see what the perfect amount of maturation of the cigar, where it could be in there, where I think if you clearly smoke this cigar, you definitely know it's infused with something. But it's not infused, right? It was just literally sitting in a wet barrel, right? And actually Terrence created shelves in the barrel. So this doesn't sit literally on the liquid, right? It's sitting in the barrel, being infused with all of the and you put your head in that barrel and it
those aromas, right?
It's massive aroma, and then you put the lid back on.
What kind of barrel was that?
What kind of barrel was that?
The first time we did a Dickel barrel.
Okay.
So Joshua had a 14-year-old Dickel. I forgot the name of it. It may have been he has various names for some of the releases. Sometimes he'll just say 10OC whiskey. He obviously has other names he uses back in the day. And the first time we did a Dickel barrel. This one I'll discuss in 2 seconds because it's an even more interesting collaboration. So the first one was a Dickel barrel. It was very heavily influenced of the barrel, and actually it was almost too much whiskey the first time, but it sold out within 3 days. It was still 200 boxes, similar blend, as you know, right? You take the same exact materials each year, so similar blend. But as the cigar we're smoking right now for the 2023 release. And we really haven't tinkered with the blend. It's always Criollo, some sort, and it's a Nicaraguan puro all throughout. But the spice of the Nicaraguan tobacco plays very well with American whiskey. And so we balanced it out, this being the third iteration. Last year was a box press, which I loved as well. This one, I think, as my co-collaborators, the 2 guys, because we sit on the committee and we all taste various blends together blindly. And ironically, we all have the same mindset because each time we've done this, we've all said no to every single thing and yes to every single one on the first try. So it's interesting to see we're all the same exact mindset. So this one sat in a 5-year-old MGP bourbon barrel for X amount of period of time. We won't give away our magic, but it was less than a month. And it's interesting because learning that maturation period, it's you get when the nose and on a cold draw, when you smell it right out of the cellophane, you get the infusion. But when you smoke it, you're like, wait, what's going on? Like it's not what you smelled, and you actually get the sweetness of the quote unquote infusion all throughout the process. But you're not smoking whiskey, right? You're smoking tobacco.
What's really cool to me, it's very baking spice heavy, very nutmeg. Bread, like croissant creaminess. There's a real creaminess to it,
like butter cookies.
It's tremendous.
And learning the fact that this was aged in an MGP barrel, and man, I can only imagine what that Dickel barrel tobacco aged tasted like. Man, that would probably be incredible too. But that makes complete sense now. I didn't know that because I've done the pairing in advance and prepared notes, which I'll bounce off of here in a second, but. That's a phenomenal way to age your tobacco, and kudos to you guys for taking the risk to do that.
Look, I got to hand it over to Terrence at Aganorsa for believing in the project. Let me tell you, it's massively contimed. So you can imagine this. I literally stopped production for them for a day or almost 2 days, right? He's got basically what he does is he takes batches of the cigars, right? Because he can't fit all 200 at once. Well, it's 200 boxes, right? So it's a count of 10, so it's 2,000 cigars, right? And he's putting them in for X amount of period of time, and then when they come out, he's immediately putting into cellophane and doing the boxing and the sorting and what he does. So it's a massive undertaking and faith in the project for him to do this, right? And also, it's a pain, right? Because it's like, and I love this. I mean, the first time I get a text message from Terrence, how the hell do I take off the top of the barrel, right? He had no idea how to undo the barrel itself, right? Thankfully he had guys in the warehouse who were from Cuba, which I think there's a process there. They play with barrels to do some sort of aging process or a certain fermentation over there where they knew exactly how to do it. It was hysterical. It's like, what the hell do I do? It's like a hammer nailed. I have to YouTube this. He had no idea. So at this point now we have it down pat. It's still at this point now our cadence is about every other year we're releasing this because to even get on the production schedule for a big company like Aganorsa is a massive ask. And then I got to get the retailer involved. and obviously the upfront financial cost of this thing. So it's a real trio. And obviously Joshua, thank God, he like lets me take the full reins on this, and and say, hey, you got this, we trust you. He calls me the cigar czar, but at this point now, it's just good friends who believe in the same exact thing, who are interested in this type of thing, and I think the product, or I should say, the cigar itself, is just the perfect pairing.
Awesome. And can you tell us about what the blend is and how you guys came upon it?
Right. So literally, it's tinkering. Right. So at first, like the first year, we did a traditional Robusto, and I'm like, fine, no, cool. And then I'm a box press guy. And at some point, I would love a Lancero. So I usually push like, I'll scream out like on an email or like a Zoom chat like this. This size I want, and I'll fight for it. And so thankfully, like this year, Terrence says we're doing. He'll call it a Toro-esque. I know before before we came on, you guys did double Corona. It's a Toro-esque type thing, right?
Yes.
It's a 6x48, right? So it's a Habano wrapper, which is what we've had for all three batches, right? It's a Coro 99 and a Creo 98 double binder. So there's two binders in here, which adds to the. So it's funny, Joe. You mentioned this is a mild to medium cigar for you. I can tell you. So now it's been sitting around since we released this. The cigars were ready almost a year ago. The cigars were ready actually last October. So this is about a year age on top of that, if you think about it. And you definitely see it die down in the strength and the spice, which is normal for a Nicaraguan tobacco to do as it further ages on.
Yeah.
But definitely the infusion's still there. And definitely as you smoke and as you get closer down to the nub, you're going to pick up that strength again. But that double binder this year, which is new for us, was definitely a tinker of strength without adding like another added to it. And then it's a Coro 99 and Creo 98 filler. So which is typical of any Aganorsa blend you're playing with. Right. Those two components are almost like throughout their stuff.
Where's the Habano from?
It's Nicaraguan.
Oh, Nicaragua? Okay.
It's all Nicaraguan Puro. And that's the way we, Terrence and the guys at Aganorsa played with this. And it was, I think the cigar speaks for itself. But literally, as we speak, as of this morning, there's 28 cigars left.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we're almost done, obviously, with this batch, and then we'll work on. I'll start to tease Terrence usually around December of this year for next year's cigar, and somehow get on the production schedule.
Is Joshua giving you free reign again for the next batch?
At this point, I'm 3-0, so that's it. I'm going. Unless Joshua, I know you've had him on the show before. Unless Joshua feels differently.
Okay, Joshua, if you're listening. Yoni is your man for the blend. So
well, you know what I love about this cigar is it stands on its own. So it does not get overpowered by the whiskey at all. And I think it's because of the fact that it's kind of sneaky strong, I'll call it. Because you're right. As I'm going through this, it started off a little bit peppery on the nose, just a tinge, and then that went away. But I can feel the intensity of the flavor profile coming through now. Right. So it's only being enhanced by the whiskey. And I think that sweetness from the whiskey and this cigar, like we talk about perfect pairings, it truly does. This is a companion right here. There's nobody's outshining anyone.
First thing I noticed was how oily this wrapper was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's got these nice, like strong, like toothy veins to it, but it's nice and smooth and oily to the touch.
Yep.
Boy, I tell you, in the first, so I'm like probably about an inch in, and it's going from the cigar to the whiskey. You might think I'm crazy, but I'm getting like a cherry cordial type of flavor out of it.
You are getting cherry now.
Yeah.
The side sniff, you get like the nice cedar wood over like some fruitiness and chocolate in it. Maybe like some chocolatey hay notes there going on the side sniff. The dry foot is like very fruity. It's very bold, and I even get some floral on that dry foot. On the dry draw, I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to dry draw it.
Mm-hmm.
I got like bold, like cranberry, raisin type notes over like some oat notes. Very, very awesome notes on that dry draw. But yeah, getting into that first third of this awesome Habano, I got like immediately. I got like creamy vanilla notes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that just like coated the entire palate right off the get-go. And then this is one of those cigars that you just immediately, without thinking about it, you retrohale it.
Oh, immediate.
Just because you're realizing what an easy smoking cigar it is. And the retrohale was obviously very creamy. It was really nutty, like Ronnie.
Yes.
It did have a bit of that, like a surprising, like smoky kick on the finish.
Yep.
And then I got like a nice like transition to pistachios, which was pretty cool. And then like some saltiness, and I love like a little saltiness on a cigar because that just makes my palate salivate.
You get that salty. Exactly, Joe.
I hate when a cigar just dries out my palate because that's preventing me or becoming an obstacle to like getting the flavors of the cigar.
I haven't been forced to like really take a drink from the smoking the cigar at all because
salivating like crazy.
Right.
You know, the only reason I keep going to the whiskey is just because we're doing a pairing tonight. I'm like,
it tastes so damn good.
So I will say this, right? So the FEW whiskey, especially with the vermouth finish, which is definitely a unique thing, and Paul can talk more about it. And I can tell you point blank, I know when Charlie picked this for the club, and when the guys from FEW sent over a couple of samples, and when Charlie does Drammers picks, by the way, so I'm the head of the Stamford chapter. I can tell you point blank, right? He's not looking for everyone always pushes Charlie to the max, right? Go pick the odd finishes because it's not worth, right? Especially for the club members. If you want to go pick up a few whiskey, go on the shelf and go support your local liquor store, right? You're going to be part of Drammers, right? Get something unique and different from us and try something unique that the club has, all together like on a small committee of nuts like me and Sean. Right, all enjoy. I can tell you point blank. I went down with Sean earlier this year. We actually have a Four Roses pick. I'm not Four Roses, a Wild Turkey pick coming out, and that's the first time actually Sean and I met in person. And obviously, talk about debauchery and inappropriateness. Definitely, a lot of stuff happened down there. But again, what we were looking for, even at Wild Turkey, where it's like again is oddness, and that's exactly kind of what you're going to get from Drammers. It's not going to be your traditional stuff. We know what FEW whiskey tastes like. We've had probably 2 or 3, even more actually, right? Events with the guys from FEW and Paul, and then when we had a chance to pick a finish like vermouth, which you can't pick on the shelf, right? It's not a typical thing that they release, right? And we had the opportunity. Charlie was like, I want that, and not because also it's weird and cool, and again, it's experimental, right? So it could suck, but it's so damn good. And I think especially with this pairing, with this specific whiskey, right? And it wasn't, by the way, when Joe and I, we discussed a little bit offline, right? It's all subjective, right? You can pick up any whiskey and find whatever you love and pick up your favorite cigar. And I like vodka, I like tea, I like coffee with my cigars. I won't touch X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But I think this one, even to a novice, even to someone who's not as knowledgeable, and you see the two together, you pick it up, Joe. It works. Not just works; it works perfectly.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. And you're right. Everybody's palate is different, but the maturity of everybody's palate is different as well. Back into the first 30, I get another transition to some nice like smoked oaky notes that kind of glide across the palate, and then they melt like butter.
Right. It's buttery.
Right? I mean,
buttery.
And then the foot smoke produces like nice notes of like softly charred, like the playground wood chips, kind of, when you remember when you were a kid and you were kind of falling into the wood chips and
that smell of wood chips. Yep.
Like a charred like playground wood chips over like some like cocoa powder on the foot smoke odor. Very, very, very unique. But yeah, so I've kind of been getting into doing like the directions with the pairing in each third of the cigar to try and make this a little more organized. So when I do the cigar to the whiskey, I get like a melted chocolate over raspberries and dark Luxardo cherries with like nice, like brain tingling vanilla spice over lightly charred vermouth on the finish. What are you guys getting when you guys go cigars with
cigar to whiskey for sure? The vanilla, because even the nose on that whiskey, I get a vanilla highlight, a strong vanilla. as opposed to it being caramelly. I don't get any caramel.
Yeah, no.
I get all vanilla.
Yeah, I think that vermouth just overtook the caramel notes on this bourbon.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
I still stand by like my dark chocolate covered cherry cordials. That is like my thing, and because like that, you get that nougat that the cherries sit in is that vanilla, that very heavy vanilla taste, and then you get that back end, that dark cocoa with it, and then that citrus just comes through. It's very prevalent there.
Oh, completely. Wow. I mean, and for anybody I don't think any of our viewers have ever had a whiskey that was cask in a vermouth. That's so unique.
Yeah, the first time.
It's the first time for me.
This is the first time I've ever had it.
So I'm going to ask, where did you source the vermouth barrel?
Frank, let's get into the whiskey in a second. Why don't we take it to sponsorship? We'll come back to Paul and we'll get into the whiskey.
I like that, Joe. You're doing pretty well. You're learning.
That's on track.
He is.
Finally.
Great cigars take time. The Fortaleza Libre story began in 2013 with the idea of starting a brand of cigars that would exemplify the strength and freedom that define America. Our premium cigar voyage for quality and taste led us to the Dominican Republic and the tobacco fields of Santiago and Tamboril. Tabacalera El Joyito would become a trusted partner, and in 2019, our smoking strong and living free journey was realized with the arrival to our shores of the Fuerte Libre. Fast forward 5 years, 2024, Fuerte El Libre rebrands to Fortaleza El Libre. Same meaning, strong and free. Our portfolio has grown to 6 core lines to satisfy the palates of cigar smokers worldwide. For more information, visit our website at fylcigars.com. Smoke strong, live free. Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature Firehouse cigar line.
All engines respond.
Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
And we are back, folks. And we're about to get into the whiskey side of things here.
All right, yeah. Do you want to remind people about the raffle at the end of the show?
Yeah, we can do that. So all you folks that have joined us recently, Joey's holding up the bottle there. That's going to be for the winner. But for all of us, we will have hashtag FEW and Aganorsa for your entry into the raffle. It has to be spelled correctly. Punctuation does not count. And it's only good for us on Facebook and YouTube. Those are your only ways to enter into the raffle. So get that in there by the end of the show. We'll do the raffling. And you do have to be present to win. We are not giving out to anyone who's not in the show all the way through. So keep that in mind, folks. We're only giving winners to watching the whole show.
All right, Paul, if you want to do us a favor and give us a quick rundown of the FEW Distillery, its origins, and then get us into this whiskey that you created here.
Sure. So, I mean, FEW, I guess I'm Paul Holtzman, the founder and master distiller at FEW. We're a grain to glass distillery here in Evanston, Illinois, which is just immediately outside of Chicago. Get weird glare on the glasses. And I think kind of one of the stuff that really kind of makes us stand out in what's now a relatively crowded whiskey world is we were really early in the game. We are certainly not the first people in the world to be making whiskey, but in the world of small batch craft whiskeys, we are definitely one of the older ones. And so that kind of means that we end up having some of the best whiskey because obviously age matters. We really pride ourselves on pushing the limits and really kind of trying to be creative and artistic. We very much take an approach of trying to put liquid art in a bottle every day. Much like a lot of the cigar companies you guys work with are really trying to put, their art is going to be in the cigar blends and, the wonderful, wonderful art of cigars. We try to take that same approach to making whiskey. I was talking about how I didn't get into this business to make money. I got into it to make whiskey, and I've proven that out time and time again because I don't make a lot of money, but I sure as hell do make some great whiskey. That's kind of the background on FEW. Been on the market now a little over 13 years and going strong.
So how did this concept of Vermouth Cask aging and where did you kind of get that Vermouth Cask from? Where? We want to know.
So we actually just got it from a broker, and the idea kind of came out. I forget, somebody was talking about it earlier. It's about being a Manhattan in a glass,
right? And
that was the idea. I don't know if you were joking about it, but that's
I wasn't.
He was serious.
Bob knows his Manhattans.
One of our favorite drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, and certainly it's not a Manhattan in a glass. I mean, the Vermouth is obviously much less present than it would be.
Right.
But that was kind of the idea. And I think one of the other things that, the listeners ought to know is Drammers is literally the only place on the planet you can get this bottle. And I would not be surprised if the bottle you guys are giving away is the last one available on the planet.
Oh,
wow.
You still going to give it away or what?
So, we did, we literally, in our entire history of 13 years, we've done exactly 3 barrels of vermouth, and 2 of them went into a different product. So there is no more. There is no more coming.
Wow.
That is it. And I think it's one of the things that we kind of point out about how awesome Drammers is we like Drammers. Charlie is a cool dude. John's a cool dude. Yoni, hey.
I won't talk about the schmear barrel, all right? We won't get into that.
Oh, yeah, the schmear barrel. I was told to ask about that.
We will. Let him finish, but we will.
Oh, good. Yoni will give me all the smoke. Don't worry. Even if I'm not having a cigar, I'm going to get plenty of smoke off of Yoni. But, like, a lot of the folks over kind of like my side of the business, distillers, producers, we don't really have problems selling our product. Our product sells.
Right.
So we get a lot of folks that come to us and want us to do something special, and frankly, my answer is typically going to be go fuck yourself.
Right.
Not going to do that. We do fun stuff with people that we like. And I think that's really one of the things that being a member of a club like Drammers gets you is you do get that weird stuff that nobody else is going to get, because guys like me aren't going to give it to somebody other than Drammers.
Right.
So was this one barrel, or was this multiple barrels?
One barrel. There is
Okay.
200 and some bottles total.
Oh, well, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Okay, but what are some of the unique barrel finishings that are available to the public?
At the moment,
You could talk about the Smashing Pumpkins. No, the Smashing Pumpkins, all the funky ones, the tequila, right? Right.
Alice in Chains. Yeah, we did a collaboration with Smashing Pumpkins, but that's not a barrel finish. We did a collaboration with Alice in Chains, and that was a barrel finish. It was a tequila barrel, and that's currently not on the market, but it'll be released again. I'm told in August, but you might notice that it's September, and so I was told the wrong things.
So maybe October.
It may be.
Have you guys thought about doing a single malt?
We do a single malt. We don't really focus too much on it, but I wrote the standards for what American single malt is, so we do it. I've been very active in the American Single Malt Commission.
All right, very good.
So yeah, we currently we just released a malt whiskey, not a single malt, called Chicago Smokeworks. That is a really, really fun whiskey. Super smoky for those of you that like smoke.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody on a cigar podcast is going to like smoke.
No, we hate it.
All right, excellent. So getting into the second third of this Habano, we get more of that like creamy and charred, like those cedar wood notes. And now that I'm realizing that this is barrel aged, I'm assuming those are the oaky notes coming right from that MGP barrel, because it kind of dominates the experience as you're going through this cigar. And I'm realizing it just makes perfect sense. And then you get like some like creamy, like marshmallowy or like buttery vanilla notes that kind of start to overtake those woodsy oaky notes on the cigar. When you switch it up and you go whiskey to cigar, those thick and dark like fruity vermouth notes kind of interweave with the caramel notes of the bourbon, and it melts to like a creamy and like perfectly like charred cream cheese filled creme brulee like type dessert note, which is just absolutely fantastic. What are you guys getting when you switch it up there? Anybody?
Definitely not a cream cheese creme brulee. I've never had that, so I don't know where that note comes from.
That's what I was getting.
I had a creme brulee cheesecake.
It's fantastic.
It was delicious.
Basque cheesecake would be kind of a similar note, I think, without the crust.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, going from the whiskey to the cigar on this second third now, the cigar is definitely picking up in flavor. So there's a much bolder side to the pairing. I'm now
getting more of the oak to it. Those oaky notes are more coming out.
Yep, you get that woodsy tone. But again, I think Kyle, that cherry still does come through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a cherry with a burnt, a crust pie, like a cherry pie with that get a little of that burnt crust.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you're gonna laugh because these are my notes just on the whiskey alone. On the nose, I get like deep dark fruits over cinnamon and caramel glazed oak staves.
Yeah.
On the palate, I get like nice thick viscosity, nice spice up front. I call this is like Christmas fruitcake in a glass.
That Italian fruitcake.
Yeah, and you get like some nice like chalkiness mid palate that kind of like helps the flavor linger.
Yes.
And then on the finish, I get that cherry pie.
Yeah, it's cherry pie.
With like a slight like lingering vanilla note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally delicious. I mean, this is
dessert.
It's dessert.
Awesome whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I mean, I think I've had a total of 3 Vermouth Cask finished whiskeys, and this was the first. And I know for a fact the second one was a direct result of this, from me sharing my bottle with a producer.
Okay.
So Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with Drammers Club?
Sure.
And why someone would be curious to join.
Sure. So I hopped on kind of right at the beginning of COVID. I had heard about them, but at the time, and this was obviously 2001 or 2021. They were mostly in, I think, New York, LA, and a couple other places. And then during COVID, I had heard that they the thing's over my face. During COVID, I had heard that they started to do online events. And so I immediately signed up, and I was doing events pretty much every week. And then when it made sense to try to do in-person events, I started organizing the Indianapolis chapter, and I've been lucky enough to travel around the Midwest, kind of doing barrel picks. We did one, as Yoni mentioned, with Wild Turkey. We bought 3 barrels at Peerless, which was a fun night. We bought barrels from Wilderness Trail, from Copper and Kings, kind of all over kind of the area. And then we have single casks from around the country, and we've got Scotch and Mezcal, and so the online part has been fun, but also just the ability to the opportunity to travel and meet some fantastic producers like Paul, and Copperworks out in Seattle, and Westland and Westward on that.
I can't help but notice none of us chooches ever got a fucking invite.
No, we never get invited.
There's probably a reason behind it. I don't know.
There is a reason.
We're still waiting on your social security numbers and your credit card numbers. So
I love the collection of Jack Daniels up there, by the way, Sean.
Oh yeah, I've been obsessed with their single barrel proof rye lately.
Yeah,
I've got a total of 5 open. They're all absolutely phenomenal and quite different. So yeah, I've been digging through it. But yeah, it's been a fun couple of months just going through that, because it's a relatively new product.
Yeah. Okay. So before getting into the final third of the cigar and the final direction of the pairing, Paul, do you have anything exclusive or crazy coming out soon?
Well, we just released that the Chicago Smoke Works, like I talked about. That just came out. I want to say 2 weeks ago. It might have been 3 weeks ago. So definitely watch for that wherever you live, or if not, you can get it on fewspirits.com. But I think really just go check out Drinky also. I mean, I'm not sure if they sell the Drammers Club to just anybody, but definitely don't miss Drinky. It is a cool site, and they get really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, the Drammers Club picks are kind of an exclusive thing for members.
That makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, Drinky itself does have a pretty good array of kind of unique selections from distilleries that you would most likely not hear of otherwise. Plus, we have a pretty good relationship with Springbank, so we will have Springbank fairly often. We will, we've got a decent relationship with Campari, so we'll have some Wild Turkey products pop up from time to time.
Nice.
Those get snapped up pretty quickly.
Can you try to get on Glen Scotia?
Oh yeah, actually, Ian's a good friend of ours. So he did our 10th anniversary in New York, and
I think we have Sean? We have 4 or 5 single. No, we have 3 single casts, and 4 single casts from them.
Yeah,
some peated, unpeated stuff. It's Glencoe is, you know, dear friend of ours, and they do a ton of events with us as well. But yeah, again, number one rule about Drammers is no douchebags. That is a very, very big thing. I somehow
hence none of us got the invite.
Right, exactly.
Yoni was grandfathered in.
Yeah, exactly. Again, but again, it's really about whether you're a novice or an expert, right? Or you're really a geek into it. You should really be at least know who we are. Like, I think what we offer, either in person or virtually. Right? Charlie during COVID was known to have these 6-hour marathon interviews. One, because we were bored as hell, might as well sit online drinking and smoking with our friends or strangers. And then, so right now, Charlie is actually with Samaroli. He's just a busy guy right now. Samaroli's going through their massive release within the whole core line. He may or may not pop on with about 40 of our friends in New York City. So yeah, it's open. It really is an open invite. There is a small thing you have to be referred in by a member. It can't just be a random person in public, because we're trying to wheedle out that guy who's just trying to be a flipper. The whole point of even drinking, right, with our bottles, right, is drink, enjoy it. If you want to be a collector, great, you'll hold on your shelf for that special occasion. But we're not looking for that flipper on Facebook or on the secondary marketplace. Really, it's really, whiskey's better enjoyed. The fact that Sean has 5 single barrels of Jack Daniel's rye behind him open is awesome, right? Whiskey's better open than closed. So.
Yeah,
awesome. Okay, so Yoni, before I bring it home going into the final third of the cigar, how are we doing with all these tasting notes on the cigar?
So my thing about tasting notes on cigars is always subjective, right? Right, because happens to be from my palate and what I was drinking and eating before, I get a lot of the wood influence on my cigar right now, and the fruit is actually tapered down. Actually, this is my 3rd cigar, right? I haven't actually smoked a cigar in quite some time. I smoke a ton of other products as well, and I smoke a lot of Aganorsa. I have a lot of cigars to get through. So this is the 3rd cigar of mine that I had actually today. And so the first one, I got a lot of those fresh palate. I got a lot of those notes that you were talking about. But the fact that my palate's probably a little bit more worn down a little bit,
right?
I'm definitely getting a lot of wood notes on this. Actually, a little bit more drying. So I'm actually going back to, Paul, I'm drinking the Gozo, which we can discuss also. But by the way, Paul Goza is a new tequila from the brainchild of Paul Halecko and Dave Schmier. It's a collaboration of this wonderful tequila, and he can, offline, or even you can go into that as well. But it's a great. Again, the cigar is unique and subjective. It's to everybody. I think because it's not a full-bodied cigar, it's more medium, right? Even if you want to try something definitely fun, it's definitely out there, right? It's not your typical cigar out there.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the notes you have, Joe, are definitely on point. But I think, again, it evolves. It changed drastically from when I first smoked it about a year ago.
Yeah, and so getting into the final third of the cigar, the cigar becomes just like full-on butter on the palate. The draw remains perfect, and I think that is accredited to the ring gauge size that you guys selected for this blend that really delivers it uniquely and perfectly to the palate. I could smoke this cigar any time of the day.
Yep.
So the draw remains perfect. In the final third, it tightens up ever so slightly, but that only slows the burn of the cigar, which is great as you approach the final third of the cigar, because everything kind of comes together.
And narrows, Joe.
Yeah, everything kind of comes together perfectly. I see what you guys did here with all these different tobacco leaves. The retrohale's like nuttiness turns to like pure creaminess. And that surprising char note on the finish kind of remains there. Finally, we get a nice transition to like a beautiful, like fresh barnyard hay note that just kind of like lingers on the palate. And it's just absolutely delicious as you get into this final third, and that's when everything just kind of comes together to that unique hay, like barnyard, fresh barnyard hay note. The foot smoke odor really caught my attention, because it's kind of turned to those creamy notes kind of turn to like a light, like fluffy and fruity, like cotton candy like type note on the foot smoke odor. In my opinion, this cigar is like a true masterpiece.
Oh, it's one of the
Yeah.
most unique cigars that I've
Yeah.
smoked.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I'm glad you guys really enjoyed it. It's a labor of love. It's a passion project, right? I'm not a cigar blender at all, right? But just like you guys, I'm like deep down the rabbit hole. Like I can geek out on this all day long,
Right.
go back and forth. But it really is it's a team effort for this thing, right? And just to get a project like this off the ground is a lot of trust and faith in it. It's not a unique thing, right? It's not like, I'm going to go make a cigar and going back and forth. It's really trusting Terrence and Team Aganorsa for doing it. Definitely a lot of trust of Single Cast Nation and Joshua and Jason, their team, right? Saying, just, you go ahead and do it. And then I got to say also lastly, so two guys exclusive. So 28 cigars right now, still, lying around on their website. And, they Dave and Ed and those guys over there believe in this project, and this is absolutely fantastic. So I love what you're doing over there, Joe.
Yeah. So this is the final direction that we take it in a pairing. We smoke the whiskey.
I love it. Yep.
And the best glass to use is the Glencairn. If you can notice how well the Glencairn captures that cigar smoke over the whiskey or the spirit. So when it comes to smoking your whiskey with this cigar, everything becomes like sweet and candy-like. It's a cherry bomb smoked sweet vermouth, if you will. Like a sweet vermouth infused cocktail, and I think Bob was kind of hitting on that, right, with the Manhattans there. Just absolutely delicious, and to really just bring it home overall, this cigar and the pairing is a true testament to the amazing things that can happen when the whiskey industry meets the cigar industry.
Right. Very right on the. You hit the nail on the head, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Yoni, we getting a lot of questions. Where can people pick up the cigars if they want to try them, or how do they get a hold of them?
It's 28 cigars left. Two Guys Cigar Shop. I think there's literally one or two boxes left, and then a bunch of random singles left. Yep, that's it.
TwoGuysCigars.com.
TwoGuysCigars.com.
Yep.
And the next batch is anticipated to drop when?
Well, if Terrence is watching this, we're going to be doing it next year. You don't have a choice, buddy. Hopefully in 2025. Yep, you'll see. We'll be doing this again, and all are invited, and we'll figure out what the next size is going to be.
And that's going to be and that'll be aged in a different cask.
But it has to be, right? So a couple of things, right? So a couple interesting things about the cask itself, and I always have this fun thing. Actually, another fun passion of mine is actually taking Joshua's barrels, and right now they're sitting in the Marinette, New York, having some barley wine stouts being aged in there as well. So the barrel eventually does dry out, right? There's nothing much left in there. And so it'll have to be a new cask, and it's whatever. At that point, I usually start teasing Josh actually now what he has available, what he's going to be dumping in the next year or so, because he already has his projects laid out, and figure out, what barrels available and what we can use. And might be, right, obviously it's hard to use a Scotch cask because it's obviously over in Scotland, it's bottled in Scotland, so to ship it over here, it's a disaster. I can tell you, like, shipping barrels is not fun. That's another, like, thing which most people don't think about, right? I'm shipping a whole barrel somewhere else, right? Last thing I want is Aganorsa to reassemble and YouTubing how to put together a barrel. You can imagine, like, it's like Legos, but like for adults. It's pretty bad. So
we had a cigar manufacturer on, was that a month ago or so, who was doing just that. They were getting barrels shipped over, and they had to put them together.
Right, put them together. Right. So you can do it. It's just it's a pain. It's a pain, time suck, and then that's not your day job, right? Your day job is making cigars. So I got to stop the team to make them do that. That's a big ask. So it's what's available here in America, what projects he's doing, who's he working with, what would make sense, right? Do I want to use a funky wine finish? Maybe. I just know, right, how that may or may not affect the cigar, right? And that's the other thing. So it's really pure science about thinking about it, right? And obviously what we try to do, and I did, with you guys on with them, is that we actually drink the whiskey along with the cigar itself. So it's again, it's a unique thing, and hopefully 25 will get it done. I've teased Charlie about this to use some of his barrels. If he pops on, Charlie's a very artistic guy. He likes shoving them in his apartment, which is a 4x4 in New York City. Think of clutter. Think of like a hoarder, but of whiskey, and that pretty much explains what Charlie's apartment is in New York City. And then he hosts these crazy events with like poker, and he's a jack of all trades, that guy. But no, it's an interesting thing to do, and it really is a lot of moving parts. Yeah.
So you're talking about limited run. You're talking only 2,000 cigars. Is there any way that for 2025 you up that limited run to maybe like double the amount? Like, because I think it makes sense. I think you're going to sell out of them no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I think it will always sell out. It's a matter of, it's more time being spent for a project like this. We want to do a core line, right? So that's thinking more about a bigger thing. And knowing the curtain out behind the financial aspect of cigars, and I'm sure you guys have spoken about this in the past, right? It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
A lot of upfront costs that you're trying to recoup at the end of the day. This is an easy project to be done given the size. We know who our consumer is. And look, if we get like what we did the second time, we literally sold out, I think, less than 24 hours. It was insane. We spoke about expanding the project and stuff like that. But again, getting on Aganorsa's schedule, and we know how many cigars they produce. We know how many great cigars they produce. And they just don't produce for themselves, right? It's a massive ask. And so Terrence is a dear friend, right? This is not my day job, right? This is a passion project of mine. And so it's a big ask. And so would I love to do it? Yes. I mean, but that means there's more added stress upon the retailer, Aganorsa, and then myself, because I am representing myself and I also promote Gas Station. So the answer is definitely it's out there. It's not out of the realm, but it's definitely a huge undertaking and a big thing. And so, yeah, it's very well possible that we can double the production of it and do it and all that stuff. Once the demand's definitely out there for it. It's a matter of, does it make feasible sense given whatever they're doing at that time? Yeah.
I have to recommend considering finishing aging the tobacco in a Mitsunara cask.
Yeah.
I know Diesel did it, and those cigars just sold out immediately. Or even maybe like an Ambarana cask.
Right. So one, as Paul just said, there's money. Two is that Diesel, I don't think Diesel took the entire cigar. I think Diesel only took the filler and did it. Right. So, or maybe a binder. They definitely did not use the wrapper in that thing. I could tell you this, talking to, and I will say this because he's pretty open about this. Even when Tatsuai did their infamous Willet P for their club, and it was sold out immediately. One, because it's Willet, and two, like that. Even there, it was like a limited run because again, what Pete did, and he told me he literally hung. It was only the filler. Binder he did. That he dipped it in into the Willet barrel that he had with Drew and did it there. But again, it's those casks, if you can get them, fantastic, right? Mizunara, I'm not sure how they got that, or if it already was here in the States when they did it, or they got shipped down to, I think, Diesel Factory, where it's in Dominican. Right? Where do they roll? I'm not sure wherever the warehouse is.
Might be in Dominican.
Right, might be in Dominican. So I'm not exactly sure where they did that project, and also where they did. The one thing I will say about our competitors' cigars, and I smoked a Diesel. I think I even smoked a Weller cigar, a General cigar, and all of them. None of them, because of what we did, none of them take a full cigar and do it. One, because of what you get out of this thing. Two, exactly as Paul just mentioned, there's money involved, right?
Yeah.
And three, they're coming at it from a cigar smoker, right? And saying, I don't want too much of X into my cigar. I still want the Diesel, right, DNA in that cigar. I'm argue to say on the nose, taking off the band that it says Aganorsa on it, you cannot tell this is an Aganorsa cigar until you start smoking.
Yep.
Right. And so that is also a unique thing to this entire cigar and this entire project, where again, they're willing to go out of the box with us to get this experience. And it's definitely an experiential cigar, right? To say Diesel, right? Diesel, I think, produced thousands of cigars, right? I think they were sold in 5 or 10 packs, right? Of the way they did it. And it was, while it sold out immediately because it had the Mizunara aspect to it, I'm going to go out on here on a limb and push a little bit and say, you really couldn't tell it was a Mizunara barrel. You could tell there was something to it, but you couldn't tell the DNA of a Mizunara thing to it. While if you're a whiskey drinker like Sean and like Paul and like all other drammers as well, right? When we smoke and those whiskey, we automatically pick up like could be Mizunara, could be Oloroso sherry, could be a heavily charred cask, peat and such like that. I know there was one company tried doing a peated cigar and it fell flat, right? It was
too much smoke
for it.
Too much smoke.
Did it.
Too much
right.
smoke.
Right. Too much smoke.
It was a poor smoke, right? It was a poor smoke and it didn't work. I think maybe in Hammer and Sickle, I forgot one of the older brands.
I got to ask, what is making this cigar so buttery on the palate?
So a couple things. One, let's be honest, that's Aganorsa's, right? This is an 1 year Aganorsa, so that's Aganorsa's DNA. You ever smoked an aged Aganorsa, right? As you know, it's Nicaraguan, you're going to get that.
Yep.
That's one. Two is that, let's be honest, right? There's still a lot of bourbon influence here. And so you're definitely picking up a lot of those typical bourbon notes, right?
Yep.
A good bourbon, right? At the end of the day, on the finish, right, will have that buttery characteristic. Yeah, okay, there's punch and there's spice, but right, it's mostly corn whiskey, so you're getting a lot of that sweetness on there. So go back to science, right? You're having the barrel influencing the tobacco, very, very good tobacco, aged tobacco, and here you go. This is what science does with it. And and I've smoked actually our first batch recently, so we're talking now almost a 5-year-old aged cigar, and I can tell you point blank. Well, one, it was a different blend, slightly different blend, not a double binder, but it's a different experience, right? You would not be getting a lot of the buttery notes. It's actually a fruit bomb cigar, which to me is like, that's odd. You never hear the word fruit bomb in a cigar. You hear fruit bomb in whiskey, right? You never hear fruit bomb. Usually cigars, they're dry, they're creamy, they're spicy. Spice bomb is a very big thing with ours, but you never hear the word fruit bomb when it comes to cigars. So that's barrel influence right there.
Awesome. All right, so awesome article is going to be coming out, pairing article in whiskeynetwork.net. That'll be October 3rd. That will publish on this pairing. It's an amazing pairing. It's going to be an amazing article. I don't know if you guys want to go to your round of sponsorship and
sure. And when we come back, obviously we're going to have to play our little trivia. We involve everybody, so we have a little trivia questions, and that happens right after these words.
And hit your share button, folks. Hit the share button. Let's get this show out there.
There you go.
Another day in paradise, slanging cigars.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: the Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind, and the newly released Perfect Round, featuring 18 cigars, a front 9 and a back 9. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes. We grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark 141 years ago. 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Eric Peter Stokeby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark. Pipes, made of the finest quality briar and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
And we are back, folks. And it's that time of the night to play our trivia game. And it starts off with this. It's time to stump Sasquatch. Ronnie, what kind of prizes do we have for folks who are going to?
Well, what we'll have tonight is a nice, beautiful hat by Barton
Tobacco, beautiful and
Yep.
trust.
And for all you drinkers out there, we're gonna.
All
have
you drinkers out there.
I always drink my whiskey out of a mug.
Why not? Well, I don't have anything made like that. You know, can I tell you? You know, it is what it is. This is a beautiful
and a
mug.
couple of cigars with that.
And a couple of surprise Dunbarton cigars.
Nice.
Very nice.
Awesome. All right, folks. So first things first, I'm going to ask you guys a couple of trivia questions and see who comes up with the correct answer. All right. So the first question is, I love history, so my questions are based on history. So in 422, Bob was probably a senior in high school in 422. Who began their reign as the Catholic Pope in 422?
Francis.
When in doubt, say Francis. No, that's called a chooch answer. George, Pope George. The famous Pope George also is another chooch answer. Actually, it was Saint Celestine. Celestine. Yeah, 422. You learn something new every day, Bob. But in 2007, on this date in history, a very important thing happened. Pamela Anderson's ex-husband was involved in an alleged assault on drummer Tommy Lee, who was also married to the actress up until 1998. Police intervened, witnesses to a tussle involving the pair at an MTV Musical Video Awards in Las Vegas. Who was that ex-husband?
Kid Rock.
Nice, Kyle.
Wow.
Kid Rock was the ex.
Really?
Yeah, he beat Tommy's ass.
Did he really?
Until Tommy pulled that thing out and hit him with it like a club.
They gave him the bastonada.
Yeah, that's what happens. So here's a good one, Bob. You should know this. Who recorded their first single, which was a version of Willie Dixon's and song in 1964? Willie Dixon's song. It was a version. If I
Rod
give
Stewart.
Rod Stewart. It was "Good Morning, Little Girl." Good morning,
little schoolgirl.
Yeah, little school.
Well, that goes back to the Yardbirds.
Right before.
Yeah,
all right.
He did a solo with that, Bob.
All right, one more question for you, Chooches. See what happens here. In 1984, this was the first episode of a daily syndicated TV game show that was aired.
Jeopardy.
What was
Price is Right?
Jeopardy.
Yep.
In 1984, Alex Trebek.
Someone joined us. Check this out.
Who's joining?
Better late than never. What's happening?
We're gonna say nice things about
The
him.
plan was, we have an event going on in the other room with Sam Maroli, the legendary Italian independent bottler. And the plan was to stop in when the pizza came. And the pizza was an hour late.
Priority.
The Italian guy shows up late with the pizza. What the fuck is going on, Charlie?
Fuck these guys. Where's the fucking pizza?
At the bottom of the ocean with the cement boots on this guy already. Not good. Not good.
We have been enjoying this amazing pairing.
Yeah. Isn't it a crazy, like daring? Are we allowed to swear on here?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's a family show. Fuck it. I'm sorry.
That was one crazy effing risk that Paul took to make this pour. And so when Yoni was like, we got to send him something special, I'm like, I know exactly what we need to send these dudes.
Oh yeah.
So I'm dying here. What do you think of this thing? It's crazy, right?
We were talking about an hour and a half before you showed up.
We were in awe, truly, of the whiskey. The whiskey, again, it's almost 120, 121 proof. I added a drop, and I have been I polished this thing off, and usually I'm a lightweight, and I polished this thing off. So every bit of it.
I've been savoring it. I'm like, I don't want this to end because like that's the last and only shot that I'm gonna get. So
is it me or does Jeremy kind of look like a Scotsman? Like you're a Scotsman guy.
He's wearing his kilt.
By the way, when I sending you guys this bottle, I'm just realizing means I broke a promise to Paul. I don't know if you guys got into this. But
good thing we know, Paul.
No.
Good thing we know, Paul.
When we bottled this, Paul made the observation, which I totally agree with, that it would have tasted better if we brought it down a little bit in proof. And I was like, I get that. I agree. But we always bottle at cap strength, right? Because you can always add water. You can't take water out.
Yes.
Right? And we kind of discussed it for a while, and Paul said, as long as you promise me no one outside Drammers will ever fucking try this, then fine. And here, I sent you guys these bottles.
They're honorary.
Broken my promise. Paul, I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's what you're saying is that we only work with people like you because we like you. That's, you get, when you're a member of Drammers, you get cool stuff. We like guys like you and will do dumb shit because
so look at all the new members that are going to sign up tonight.
Exactly.
I mean, look at that.
So before you came on, we signed up 5 new members. So if you don't see the memberships come through, Joe's giving me the credit card for this company, and we're just running it each time. So it's fine.
We'll take 5 extra bottles right now.
So what does it take? So what does it take to become a member?
So our whole thing is because our different people in the club take turns hosting, right? Like we don't want to waste money renting a bar or whatever. Like we want to spend the money on getting the best booze we can to try. Mm-hmm. So the way we've always done it is just different members take turns hosting. So I got to be able to look Sean in the eye, right, when we do an event in Indianapolis and be like, yeah, that dude on your couch is not going to break your fucking lamp when we have this event. And the reason I know that is because, Yoni vouched for him, which is very, dubious. But hypothetically, somebody in the club said this person gets it. They're cool. We're not here to get smashed. We're here to taste good stuff. And, Sean, your lamp is safe.
Shit, is what?
But me.
But Yoni
so
actually
go to our website.
Go ahead.
I was saying, if you go to our website, you're gonna see a lot of scary language that says you have to be invited. That's why. But honestly, anybody who's finding their way to this podcast is gonna be good people. So
keep that up there for a little bit, Frank. Hey. Yeah. All our viewers, jump online right now and join this outstanding group of individuals, we'll call it. Nice, polite way of saying schmucks, but go ahead, join us. It's a good group.
Yoni was saying that, Charlie, you're a bit of a hoarder, though. Your New York apartment is...
I'm trying to hide the view in the apartment.
Oh, my God.
I got to get that to full screen.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey, Bob, it looks like your house.
Holy cow.
I'm trying to bring a view that looks like I was a classy person this way, maybe.
Charlie, Keep going. Go to the other wall. Go to the other wall.
Do you sleep on the boxes?
Why not?
Honestly, this is nothing. It gets a lot worse, but yeah, I mean it's everywhere.
Somewhere underneath all the madness is his ex-wife buried.
That's right.
Wow. That does look like my house.
I told you.
Charlie and Harvey.
Holy cow, that's amazing.
And the
Clay
cigars,
Atkins wants to know when he can visit.
the cigars you can only get where? Where can you get the cigars?
Two Guys Cigars.
TwoGuysCigars.com.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be sold. Yeah, it's gonna be sold out soon, probably after this podcast. But again, if you want this few bottle, Charlie, how many bottles do we have left of this few whiskey? Not money, right?
Don't say that.
We still got. I mean, it was interesting. You know, and it's one of these things you learn when you're doing it. Paul filled the barrel to the top because obviously this was going to be a special thing, and let it finish for a little bit. But it's not like it had 5 or 6 years of angel share. They filled it to the top, and it just had the angel share of that finishing period. So it was a bigger yield than just like a barrel of bourbon would be normally. So we actually have a few left.
All right, good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. All right.
I gotta get me one, Charlie. I didn't even get one.
You guys gonna say
Wow.
I'm drinking something else. I don't have one.
No, if you go to, we basically set up a retail site, so we say our retail partner, but it's our site. Drinky, DRINQY.com, and if you search for Few, you'll find we carry all their stuff, so you'll find that special links, but also all the other super exciting stuff they have, like their new Smashing Pumpkins special release and everything else.
Awesome.
Oh, beautiful.
Hey, folks, get your hashtags in soon here.
Make sure you get
almost that time. Get that hashtag. Show it up
time.
on the screen one more time.
I have a couple more questions for you. These are our trivia questions, Charlie, since you joined us later. So in 1776, Bob. So Bob actually was serving for the
he was a revolutionary guy, wasn't he? With Arnold, Benedict Arnold there.
And he was Benedict Arnold. But George Washington, he asked for a spy. Who volunteered, Bob? Who volunteered to be the spy for George Washington?
Payne?
No. That's called the Chooch answer. That's wrong.
It was, but I'm close.
Nathan Hale.
Nathan Hale. There you go.
Nathan Hale.
Not Paul Revere, Chris. No, it wasn't Paul Revere.
All right.
Yoni, you didn't warn me this was like a classy crew. I wasn't.
This is as classy as it gets for us. This is
in the background right now. Paul, there's the Grateful Dead cover band right now is playing right now. Charlie's favorite band in the entire world. And then I have about 200 people right now smoking cigars and drinking various. I would say the Goza's killed right now, and then you have other David Kinnear products right now being
Drink Goza tequila. Drink Goza tequila.
He keeps saying he's at an event, but it looks like he's in the forest. I don't know.
I can turn this around and take you guys off mute, and you hear a lot of music and a lot of people walking around smoking cigars and having s'mores right now. It's wild. But,
So, one last question.
If you walk backwards, would you do a Homer Simpson? Would you disappear in the bushes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that meme. That meme is fantastic.
Time to walk away.
Charlie, show them the main room also, where everyone is right now.
Can he get through? Let's follow.
Yeah, why not? Just show like a typical Drammers night.
It's gonna be a little bit loud in there.
Oh, look at all of that. Are those books?
Are those books or CDs? What do you got over there?
All right, guys, there's a podcast that is going right now talking a little bit about the club. They wanted to check out the crew. So
Nice.
Hey.
All right.
Yo, guys, what's going on?
All right. What are you guys watching on TV is what I want to know.
That's not Drammers Club. That's actually NASA in action.
Lineup of the evening, about 4,000 Samarolis.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Bring those to Indy, right, Charlie?
Wow.
Including a 30-year-old Lecheg and some 25-year-old McDuff and big fucking bottles.
Holy cow. Nice.
I think I saw them watching Deep Throat or or Debbie Does Dallas? Which one was it, guys?
Oh, Charlie, that's the problem. One of us is always in the gutter, and that's usually Ronnie.
Hello.
I'm gonna
I wanted
give
to
you
ask
guys
him, where did the pizza come from? Did you get it from Famous Ray's or what?
Ray's Famous.
No. We have a strong opinion on this topic, and we always go with Joe's Pizza. Not the best pizza in New York, but the best slice shop.
Okay.
There you go.
I like
Slices
Ray's myself,
important.
but
Slices are important. But here's the question, and it's a good question to end on for the panel. So on this date in history, on September 10th, it was the first time, you got to guess the year, that someone was arrested for DUI. What year do you think?
Oh, yes. It was a guy in England, the first taxi man driver in 1892 or something like that. Something crazy.
1897, a 25-year-old London taxi driver named George Smith becomes the first person ever arrested for drunk driving. After
Bob was in the back seat.
Yeah. Well, he slammed his cab into a building.
Oh,
and
I blame the horse.
You know what? But he did plead guilty, and he had to pay a 25 shilling fine.
Oh, that's a lot.
That was a lot.
That's a lot back then.
Absolutely.
Probably was out of business after that.
I figured that was a good one to end on.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
All
Nice
right.
drunk.
Now we have our question for our audience and all that great Dumbarton tobacco.
Okay.
So, folks, very important for you to pay attention, close attention here. Here we go. In a recent comment, Steve suggests what? As you see, he's got a Dick and Jane box set. What do you think Steve suggested?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Suggest you play Dick and Jane for him.
Let's see if anybody gets this.
Isn't that like a movie with Jim Carrey too?
It might have been, but Steve was so, he's pretty much reading more often.
Read a book. Reading more often. Go to hell. I don't think so. That's what he suggested.
Orlando, come on now. You got to give me something better.
Come on. That Dick gave Dick to Jane. Read to your grandchildren.
We get some great answers here. Read to your grandchildren. No, that's not on Steve's mind. Nope, that wasn't that. He suggested something.
He said read Dick and Jane.
Smoke some Dick and Jane?
He suggested that they should do what? Come on, folks. It's pretty evident. What do you want me to do? Tell you exactly what he said?
Come on, folks. Come on.
Dick and Jane?
Hold on, Joey. Don't give any answers away here because you might just go skipping.
Smoke more cigars.
Get married. Yeah, they're only 10 years old. It's okay.
I might, for this answer, I might take the most outlandish at this point. Nobody.
They should
light it up.
Bump uglies. Listen. For that,
Brian,
I'm going to give him that one. That they should bump some uglies.
There you go. Brian Joyner.
But the answer is, come on, folks, you really got me. But Brian, you're going to win with that stupid answer.
Big fellas, cigar.
Yeah.
All right.
Bump uglies on the mobile cigar lounge.
His cousin Bob.
It's actually
Put a Dick in
sharpening
Jane.
your reading comprehension skills with a box of
Dick
and
and Jane.
That's it.
All right. I like Matt Polly's actually put a Dick in Jane.
Let's give it to that guy.
No, but Brian Joyner, Big
Brian
Fella
Joyner.
Cigar Lounge, folks. If you ever want to in the area of somewhere in Illinois, you ever get a chance to see this mobile cigar lounge, it is like stepping back into speakeasy 1920s. Brian and his brother Mike has done a spectacular job, and they're amazing. Both of them are just amazing guys. And Brian, happy birthday to Bridget out there, your wife.
Nice. And Kyle, it's time for the raffle. That bottle is up for grabs.
So nobody wins the hat and the cigars?
Yeah, Brian Joyner got it.
Brian Joyner did.
Okay.
Joey wants to put Dick and Jane because Joey, that's all that's on Joey's mind these days.
So this is your last chance to get that hashtag in for the raffle. We're going to hit the raffle button here in just a few seconds, but get that hashtag FEW and Aganorsa into the comments on Facebook and YouTube, and we will hit the wheel, and you will win a bottle of this FEW.
Precious. Yeah, it's FEW.
And it's very few.
Very few.
Very few.
Because we got 5 or 6 bottles already on the show here.
And yes,
few between.
Really, winner needs to be present. Yeah. So if you put it in and we pick your name, we're going on to the next one. You have to be here to take heed on this. So all right. So we're getting the last ones in.
Remember, was that?
So we're gonna
the cigar gospel. Yes. Okay.
In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
People are
2,
anxiously waiting here.
1, and let's go.
Ooh, I see a couple of names that I've seen before.
Oh yeah,
I see a lot of missing names. People, you did not put it in. What's your problem?
And
David Jakes.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
All right,
Is
David, are you on
in the
board?
house?
You have to say
Reply.
yes. I am
Say
here.
yes, I am here.
Yeah.
And
David,
I won.
comments. You are here, David. You better comment, or
David,
we
where are
you?
He should be here because he was just he just recently made a comment.
Come on, David. Are you still
David
with us?
Jakes.
Are you still with us, David?
David, don't be one of those guys.
He's a little old. He's got bad fingers. Don't worry. Give him a chance. Hold
fingers.
on.
No. What's the bathroom? You have a small prostate.
David.
He's not here. He's not here.
We're in the
Oh
count
my God.
of 5,
4,
3, 2,
2,
1.
1. David Jakes.
He left. And
We're
Richard
going.
Beard is
Oh, I'm
left.
gonna smack that guy next time I see
We're
him.
going again. And who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Brian, join
Oh, a double hit.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Joiner with the double up.
Hey, Brian, you told me you're going to go spend your birthday with your wife. Good for you.
Brian, I hope you're still watching. You got a nice present for the wife.
Wait, we got to get a comment from Brian.
Comment.
Brian, oh, yes, Brian.
He is.
Brian, I know he was just on. Come on, Brian. Say
was.
hello.
Come on, Brian.
Say hello, Brian.
Oh,
You
don't,
didn't-
be, don't hit and run. Win the.
Don't be a chooch. Come on,
I was so
Brian.
excited for the first prize. Oh, no, that's Billy. Brian.
There he is.
Double
There
whammy.
he is.
Double header. Here we go. Brian.
Yes.
Joiner.
All
He is here.
right. Whoa, we got scared of that one there, Brian. See, folks, you got to stay in it to win it, man. You just can't come in and you got to watch the show. All right,
And-
Joey, lucky she posted. She's right next to you.
And again, there's a nice article on that mobile cigar lounge, the Big Fella Cigar Lounge. If you get a chance to go to whiskeynetwork.net, all my articles are in the Sips and Stogies section off that lifestyle drop down. That's where you'll find all my pairing reviews. This will be my second or third FEW pairing review. Get on that if you're interested in finding out what you should be pairing with your whiskey and what you should be pairing with your cigar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joey, great show. Thank you very
Yes,
much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all you guys for coming on board tonight. We appreciate your time. I know you're all busy, but we do appreciate taking time out, joining the crew here. And again, Joey, you did a fantastic pairing.
Loved it and loved it.
Yeah,
Loved it
yeah.
to the end.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great tasting, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. And everybody, let's join the club. Put it out there again for everybody who's still on. Join the club. These guys are fantastic. There they are. Get on board and show them love and support. And you guys are going to enjoy the time with them for sure.
Absolutely. And there's always pizza. We have pizza and whiskey at nearly every event. That's our thing.
Is it Sicilian or is it Napolitan? What kind of pizza we got there?
So it depends on where we are. So I know what Sean does in Indianapolis. I can argue that Sean has shitty pizza. And Chicago has unfortunately decent.
And get on FEW, guys. This is all their bourbons, all their finished bourbons are awesomely crafted.
Yes.
By our guy Paul here. Keep up the excellent work
Yeah.
with everything you do with FEW Distilling. We appreciate what you do, all your contributions to the whiskey industry. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us on. Thank you very, very much.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Join us next Tuesday, folks. Every week we're right here with prizes to be given away, nice and free. And thank
Nice and
you
free.
all. Nice and free, everybody.
Good night.
Fuck Brian Joyner.
Next week's guest is
Next week's guest is Ron.
Ron.
Don't remember.
All right, well, hey, everybody will be surprised. That's
Yeah.
the good way.
Even us.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.
All right, guys.